showing you guys my 2021 Exodia deck build. To kick stuff off, of course, we got all the pieces to Exodia here. One of each, of course, because you could only run one. If you don't know what Exodia does, you know, you've been hiding from somewhere a really long time. One of the best cards in the game, best win conditions right there, one of the oldest win conditions. Then we play 3 card D. This card is great because, you know, you can play all your spells and traps that help you draw everything. And then after you're done playing all those, you could use card D, and you'll be able to draw an extra 2, and it'll end your turn to your opponent's turn right after. Then we run 2 Ghost Ogre. I run a few hand traps in this deck only because of interruptions. A lot of people think, hey, since I'm playing an Exodia deck, I'll be able to get away with a lot of stuff because they don't really have interruptions. Well, in my deck, that's not the case. Definitely, if you have Ash Blossom, I would rather play Ash Blossom instead of these cards in your deck, just because they're better interruption. Then we play 1 DD Crow. A lot of decks now do stuff in graveyards, so being able to stop something in the graveyard is really great because it could stop their whole turn. Then to go on top of that, another card for graveyard disruption is Skullmeister. Really great card. A really heavy beater for a hand trap. 1700. I brought it out on a few of my friends before because I've got it in some sticky situations, and they're like, how does a hand trap have that big of a beater? Then on to the spells. You're gonna want to run 3 Ledgers of Ledgermane. This card is really good. Honestly, one of the best cards in the deck. What it allows you to do is you get to banish the top 3 cards from your deck, and then after 3 standby phases after you activate it, you get to add those 3 cards back into your deck. So it's really good. Helps you get a lot of searcher cards in your hand. Really great. Then we run 1 golden. Basically what this card does is it allows you to pick 1 card in your deck, and then you get to banish it, and then after 2 standby phases of banishing it, you get to add that card to your hand. I personally always search for an Exodia piece when I use this card, the head or the legs or the arms. Then we run 3 Pot of Dualities. Pot of Dualities are really good because, you know, you show the top 3 of your cards, the top 3 cards of your deck, you get to add 1 to your hand, so you're always being able to see maybe what card will be able to make your move a little bit faster, a little bit more draw power, things of that such. Then we run 1 Upstart. Basically puts the deck at 39 cards. You know, your opponent gets an extra 1,000 life points, but you get an extra free draw. Not really that bad of a card. Then we run 1, 2, 3 Mystic Mines. Mystic Mine, what this card does is basically, you know, if your opponent controls more monsters than you do, he can't activate any monster effects, and he cannot attack. A lot of people, when they see Mystic Mine, they instantly hate you or don't want to play with you anymore. So a lot of people end up scooping, or they do anything that they could to get rid of Mystic Mine. Really one of the best cards in the game right now for Exodia. Definitely probably going to get hit here real soon though. I don't see why it wouldn't. Then to save your Mystic Mines, we run 2 Field Barriers. I used to run it at 3, but it's really cloggy. The only thing that I don't like about this card is that it's a continuous spell. So basically what this card does is your opponent wouldn't be able to destroy any field spells, or you wouldn't be able to destroy your opponent's field spell with this card out on the field. Also, if you play this when you have a field spell out on the field and your opponent doesn't, they wouldn't be able to activate their field spell because this basically stops it. Because once it gets played, neither player can play another field spell unless this card's removed from the field. That's one of the things I don't like about this, is because a lot of the times people will be able to, Cosmic Cyclone, get rid of Mystic Mind, because it doesn't destroy Mystic Mind, it just banishes them. So now I'm stuck with the Field Barrier out on the field. So definitely wish this wasn't a continuous spell, but since it is a continuous spell, I run one Twin Twister to help me get rid of it. That way I'll be able to bring out another Mystic Mind if mine were to get destroyed. I used to run 2 Twin Twisters, but I think one's just fine, especially since for the most part I only use it for Field Barrier. I run 1 Regeki because, Regeki's really good, destroy all your opponent's monsters on their side of the field. So if somebody builds up a big board and you have Mystic Mind and Field Barrier on the field, now you can get rid of their whole field, and not really have to worry too much about Mystic Mind being destroyed because of Field Barrier being out on the field. It kind of makes sure Mystic Mind doesn't get destroyed. If you don't have a Regeki or can't get one, then I would definitely recommend running at least 1 Dark Hole. Really, really good, especially since you don't really have that much monsters that you can play out on the field. Then we run 1 Terraforming to help search for the Mystic Mind. I was originally going to run like 2 more Demise of the Lands and a Metaverse. That way I can have multiple copies of Mystic Mind, but since I'm constantly drawing and constantly getting the next card, I feel like 1 Terraforming and 3 Mystic Minds is really, really good in this deck, because you don't want to see them in your hand too often, especially if you have one out on the field already. Then to the traps, we run a classic 3 Jar of Greeds. Jar of Greeds, it's basically like an Upstart Goblin, but instead you gotta use it on your opponent's turn. So running these 3 right here plus the Upstart, it's like you're running a 36 card deck instead of 40. So basically you play it, you get to draw 1 extra card. Really, really good. Then we run 3 Reckless Greeds. What they do is you draw 2 and then you get to skip your next 2 draw phases. Even when I play Reckless Greed, I'm still constantly drawing, even on those turns that I'm not really supposed to be able to draw, because my draw phase gets skipped for the next 2 turns after that. But if you play your cards right, you'll still be able to draw for those 2 turns that's you're not supposed to. The really, really good thing about this is that the bad end does not stack. So if you were to play 3 Reckless Greeds at the same time, you'd draw 6 and you'd still only skip your next 2 draw phases. It's not like you draw 6 and then you have to skip your next 6 draw phases. So if you even draw just 2 and you play 2, you'd get a draw 4 and you only got to skip your 2 draw phases. Really, really good card, especially for draw power. Helps you see those Exodia pieces a lot faster. Then to disrupt people trying to, get rid of your Mystic Mind or your Field Barrier, I run 3 Solemn Judgments. Really, really good card. Pay 4,000 life points or half your life points to be able to negate any spell / trap or monster effect, and then destroy. Really, really good card. Definitely saves Mystic Mind and Field Barrier a lot for me. Then I run 2 Quaking Mirror Forces. Quaking's really, really good because your opponent thinks they have you because you have nothing out on the field. You might not have Mystic Mind, you might not have Field Barrier, but they walk into a Quaking, and that'll basically flip all your opponent's monsters face down on the field. And the really, really good thing about Quaking is once they get flipped face down, they can't get flipped face back up. So if they have 5 monsters on the field, you kind of lock up their board if they're not able to tribute summon. So a lot of people do end up forfeiting when that ends up happening because they're not really able to get around Quaking sometimes. And then for the final card that I run in this deck, Sticky Situations, classic Scape Iron or Scrap Iron. Basically what it does, your opponent attacks, you gotta flip it face back up, and then the attack is basically negated. So it saves you from taking some life points that turn, especially if they only have 1 monster out on the field. Really, really good because then you basically skip their whole draw phase. If they have multiple monsters on the field, I normally end up using it to negate the most damage instead of the least. But other than that, I hope you guys enjoyed. Thank you for checking out my deck profile. I'm definitely going to be doing some updates to this deck once I get a few more cards in. But for right now, this is what I got. Hopefully, when you play it for fun. And I hope you guys enjoy it. Thank you very much, and you guys have a good day.